Hi, everybody. This is Jeff Fry, and I'm coming to you today from my office in Houston, Texas. But I get the privilege today to talk to Alex. He is a talent path consultant that has gone all the way from I didn't know about talent path all the way to hired by an employer. And so we're going to hear a little bit from him about what he's doing, what he's up to, and get a little bit more information. So hi, Alex.
Hey, Jeff.
How are you doing?
Doing fine. Thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for doing this. I really appreciate your time. So I know you obviously, but why don't you give some folks a little idea about who you are, what you were up to, education, jobs, whatever you want to talk about prior to Talent Path and knowing we existed. Go for it.
Sure. So my path was a bit unusual. I got a degree in political science from the Coast Guard Academy, and I spent the first 7 years of my career as a Coast Guard officer, both on ships and then at headquarters. So I got the feel, kind of the field and then the upper level management. And even though I didn't have any experience in it, I saw a need and became very passionate about effectively using data to increase efficiency and informed decision making. So as I was transitioning out of the military, I took a couple courses online in business analytics, so learned SQL, Alteryx, and a couple of other skills. But I found it was really difficult to break into a field that seems to require specific experience, even at relatively junior levels. So I just chanced on the talent path position at the Alexandria office, which was new at the time and conveniently 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
So I talked to Emily, and the business model seemed like a fit, and everything turned out great.
Yeah, that's good. So interesting background. Thank you for the service, by the way. And so now, day in the life. Tell me where you're at, how long you've been there, what are you up to? Walk us through what your job functions are.
Sure. Yeah. So pre-pandemic, work was in the office predominantly 9 to 5 at Capgemini Government Solutions, which is the federal branch of much larger Capgemini North America, and a global consulting company. And day to day, a pretty significant latitude, so long as the work is getting done. So a lot of ability to manage my own time. That means that some days are 12-hour days, others much less so, depending on what's going on. Although I will say the commute is about 12 times worse than it was going to Talent Path. But so we work primarily on a small team doing Salesforce development with a large DoD client and their pilot program, migrating paper processes onto the cloud and then working on data integration and visualization. So we do some business analysis to understand the requirements and then design, build, and test a Salesforce app to answer the mail.
Interesting. So the Salesforce, tell me a little bit more about your introduction to Salesforce, how you got into that, how that process worked.
Yeah, so I was actually introduced to the existence of Salesforce while at Talent Path. Talent Path had brought in a number of executives and business leaders to just give some perspective to folks in the program, and one of them is a principal at Capgemini and happened to be working on a Coast Guard project and needed some expertise. And he was also giving kind of an introductory talk to Salesforce and CRM technologies. So it was just kind of a happenstance perfect fit. I ended up consulting a little bit on some Coast Guard related things, and then in the meanwhile had been using my off time at Talent Path to brush up on Salesforce, on their online learning, so that when I did start working with Capgemini, I was able to interface with the team relatively easily right from the get-go.
That's awesome. And you mentioned a team, so tell me about the environment. You said you have some latitude on your days. Are you part of a team? Are you what's the management structure look like? Give me a little bit more information about that.
Sure. It really depends on the project and the client we're at. We have a number of different federal clients. Some are in the civil and some are in the DoD, Department of Defense space. In my particular projects, they've all been relatively small teams. The current project I'm working on is a pilot with the possibility to expand significantly. So one of the benefits of working on that small team, it's myself, another developer, project manager, and occasionally some higher technical support. We really have a lot of input into what happens day to day. We make our own development decisions, and then we do everything from design to testing.
Okay. All right. So you really are, I mean, consultant, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
say
We interface with
consultant,
clients every day.
that's you, and that's what you're up to. That's awesome. So the journey from uh, where you were before to where you are now, obviously Talent Path got involved in that, but you know, um, tell me about a struggle. Was it all roses? Was it tell me about something in that process that maybe you had to overcome, or something that happened in there.
Sure, yeah. So like I mentioned, I had to change course a little bit, kind of from what we were learning early in the Talent Path program. So shifting gears from SQL and Tableau and data visualization into the CRM and software integration mindset.
Sure.
I suspected that might be the case relatively early on. Just after speaking with Jim, I kind of noted that there might be an opportunity there, and an unfilled need in this geographic area. So I started working on those Salesforce badges in my time off, and that really that paid off in the long run, helping me to hit the ground running at the company. But that said, I failed my first Salesforce administrator test by one question, which was a setback. It set me back by about a month. But I would say that the additional study time definitely improved my confidence with the platform. And then immediately thereafter, I was working sometimes alone on client site. So having that additional confidence was helpful.
Yeah. Again, we've said this before, but Talent Path provides some opportunities. Is the individuals that go through the program really do have to grasp it and take hold of it, do the work. It's fairly intense, and we can provide the platform, but obviously you did the work, right? You got the job. It's really you are a big part of that, obviously. So if Talent Path did help you in some way, shape, or form, what do you see Talent Path's role being in that? I was here, I'm here now. What do you see that, how did Talent Path help you during that process?
Sure, absolutely. Probably, like I said right off the bat, one of the biggest helps or that Talent Path gave is just introduction to kind of the workforce, polishing those technical skills that may have existed prior, and giving you access to some of those opportunities that you might not have had job seeking on your own. And then from a technical perspective, even though I rarely use SQL in the day-to-day, learning it in depth that Talent Path definitely helped with has really helped frame my thinking about how to structure data. And that's been invaluable since I've been basically the primary person on our team responsible for integrating with our clients' data. And then kind of on the user end of that, we spent a lot of time working on a data visualization at Talent Path. And even though we don't typically use Tableau in our current project, the principles of data visualization are fairly consistent, and that's been one of the major selling points that we've been developing. And it's responsible for much of the positive feedback that we've gotten on our work so far. So hopefully, as Salesforce integrates Tableau into its product, that works out, and I can start to put those specific skills back to work.
Right.
That kind of still remains to be seen. And then lastly, I think that kind of on the leadership side, we did a relatively deep dive into our personal and work interaction preferences with the DISC model. And that was really illuminating. I'd done the MBTI before, but it was good to do the DISC thing. And fortunately, working with DoD, I can thrive in an environment that is unusually blue for the tech world.
Yeah, interesting. Well, those are all great. No, I appreciate it. Really thoughtful on a couple of those. Do you so if you had to give somebody some advice, either, I mean, they're looking into the Talent Path model, they're either a consultant, maybe even a client, if you had to give some advice to someone and they didn't know what Talent Path was, what you got any tips or something you would communicate or tell somebody?
Sure. Yeah. So to be honest, at first I was almost a little suspicious. It seemed too good to be true, and it was exactly the kind of niche that I needed at that point in my career.
Yeah.
I needed, had some technical skills and needed to find a way to break break into the field. And I would say that Talent Path definitely does a great job of selecting, a diverse group of young, really all age ranges and all experience backgrounds, people who are trying to get into a particular field, doing a little bit of upskilling for skills that they may already have, and then presenting them with opportunities to succeed and find work with clients.
Yeah.
So, and then kind of like you mentioned, one of the important things, if I were to give any recommendations to talent pathers, is to be a self-starter and to use your time to find ways to add value to a company, even if it's day one, and you don't have your email yet. Definitely find a way to add value as soon as you can.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We try to drive that home as much as possible. So that's great coming from you. I really appreciate the time. Congratulations on your success. Love what you're up to and hearing about your background and transition. I appreciate the effort and everything that you put into it, because again, you got to take hold of it and you got to do it. So congratulations to all you've accomplished, and thanks for your time today. I appreciate it, and you and I will catch up soon, I'm sure, and talk again.
All right. Hopefully we can travel again soon.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Thanks. Take care.
Thank you for everything, Jeff.